The story begins in the future, specifically in the year 2053. We are told that the issue of clean water and air has become so severe that it led to World War III, which resulted in deteriorating conditions in all countries. Due to the increase in chaos among people, crimes also surged. The situation became so dire that there was no space left in prisons, and the Cube prison was created to punish criminals. They would be taken and left at the edge of any sea or in the middle of a forest. Inside this box, the prisoners are given a rope and two options. One is to hang themselves and end their life. They can either silently endure their sentence in this confinement, although this is not simple as no nourishment is supplied within the cube. They rely on the surrounding villagers for sustenance. If any nearby villagers notice them and feel compassion, they might provide them with food, otherwise they will perish from starvation. In such a dire situation, we observe a French girl within the prison. To appease her hunger, she had begun cutting her own skin, and when she becomes utterly exhausted with this existence, she slits her own throat and ends her life. Following this, we are introduced to a girl named Kelly who is presently in this cube. She was in a state of unconsciousness, and her prison had been positioned by the seaside. Rahoy and children were playing in the vicinity, and when the ball accidentally struck the cube, she regained her consciousness and realized she was bound. She began shouting loudly, proclaiming her innocence and questioning why she was being punished in such a manner. However, there was no one present to hear her cries. Through an air system, she was informed that she had been there for 7 long years and was reliant on the villagers for sustenance and water. Upon hearing this, she was utterly shocked. Meanwhile, another girl in a similar confinement was depicted as trying desperately to escape from it. She had already tried. Then the AI system tells her that this is her last warning. She didn't pass by breaking the rules, and accordingly she will now be terminated. It is shown how the top part of the girl's box comes down and crushes her, ending her life. The scene shifts back to Kelly, who hasn't had any food or water for 2 days. She puts her hand out of the small window in the box and shouts loudly for food, but there was no one around. She had fainted from hunger, and the next day she regains consciousness. A girl's voice is heard as she comes to give her food. As soon as she looks down, she says, "I haven't committed any crime. Why have I been locked up here?" To which the girl replies, "I don't know that." When she talks about leaving, the girl says that the decision will be made by the government. And yes, don't even try to escape from here, otherwise you'll be in a very bad state. She ate the food given by the girl and spent a few days like that. Every few days, the girl would come to give food. Kelly had become tired of this strange box-like life. She even wanted to end her life by strangling herself, but she couldn't do that either. As the days passed, she slowly got used to living there. Reaching out of the window, she also picked up a children's ball. It was because of this ball that she regained consciousness. To pass the time, she watched the waves of the sea and played with this ball. The candidates who were spending their days in this prison were all in good spirits. That's why the AI informs her that she is being shifted to another place where more people will come to provide her with food and water. In the jungle, a girl approaches her and asks what she will do. She replies that she is meditating, which will give her the courage to stay here. She has been sentenced to 7 years. The girl asks her if she has heard about Shakespeare, a book. Reading this will pass your time well, which she refuses to take because it was against the prison rules. The girl had left after giving her food. While she was eating, she realized that a girl had hidden a small book in her food, which she then hid from the AI camera, because if the AI camera saw the book, they would punish her severely for breaking the rules, and she did not want any pain at the moment. One day, we see that Canby is ash with the water she had collected, after which she throws that water out of the window, or it was her drinking water that she had wasted, and in this way she had broken a rule, for which she was sent back to the line where fewer people used to come. Now, the girl who had brought food for the first time asked her, "What did you do to be sent back here?" She doesn't answer her question. Instead, she asks, "How do you decide which prisoner to give food to and which not?" The girl explains that this decision is made by our leaders. My endeavor is always to provide food to as many people as possible. However, the weather around the sea is extremely bad. It's not possible to come here every day, and thus many prisoners die of hunger. After it was taken from her hand, Yelly had 2 things left. To pass the time, she had a ball and a book. She had to make a great effort to read the book so that the AI camera wouldn't see her and punish her. A few days passed and Calico felt that she was being taken somewhere else. For quite some time, no one came to her. She was in a terrible state from the hook. And then a man came right in front of her and started eating an apple. Seeing this, she was desperate and begged for the apple, to which the man said, "I can give you the apple, but you'll have to pay for it." The alley had no other option to survive. She agrees, and shortly afterwards, it is shown that a drone arrives. It had killed a man, and a bullet from the drone's gun also hits her leg. However, in return for all this, she had obtained an apple. She quickly eats it, and when she is halfway through, she realizes that it had been infested with worms. She vomits everything she had eaten and throws away the apple. The AI informs her that she has broken a rule. Did you benefit someone for your food? This was against the rules, for which the punishment is that she cannot sleep for the next 7 days. She had no other option. Completing this could take 2 days. Her mind was now starting to crack due to lack of sleep. Whenever she was about to fall asleep, the AI would sound an alarm. This continued for 5 days, and in the last 2 days, keeping herself awake became quite difficult. She began banging her head against the wall loudly so that the pain continued and she couldn't sleep. After staying awake for 7 consecutive days, she began experiencing strange hallucinations. Saw herself as a queen. Finally, her punishment ended. As soon as she was informed, she immediately fell asleep. To catch up on her sleep, she slept for several days and suddenly woke up. The AI told her it was New Year's Day with the sound of fireworks and it wished her a happy new year as well. However, she didn't respond. She felt no joy in this confinement. One day, an old woman came near the fort and began telling her she had also spent 15 years inside the cube prison. She knows how painful this prison is. She has nightmares about this prison every day. Mukesh says that it's better to end one's life than to live in this prison. She looks at a rusty bread knife and runs away from here but herself. Even within Kelly, there was no courage left to finish it. 4 months had passed. Kelly had now fallen ill. The wound on her foot where the bullet had hit had also festered. The next day, she sees that girl in the forest, the one who had given her the book. She calls the girl over, drinks water from her, and tells her that she is now pregnant, asking for her help. She says, "Either get me out of here or help me take care of this child," for which she was planning to escape. Then the AI starts sounding the siren again, which meant that Coley had broken another rule, the consequences of which no one could. 6 months later, we see Aunt Kelly lying in the same way in the same prison. A man approaches and asks if she wants it to be easier. How is this possible? To which the man shows a cube lying there that had now burned out. Seeing this, Coley is shocked and tells him, "Please leave from here." A few days pass and it is shown that a child was born near the alley, which made her forget all her pain. In the face of this child, she found a support, a company. She is embracing the child. She doesn't know if this happiness is just temporary. As soon as the AI system realizes that there is someone else inside the box with Gail, and suddenly, poisonous gas starts to fill the box, causing her to lose consciousness. When she regains consciousness, she realizes that she must have been severely beaten while unconscious. Her child had also been taken away from her. Blood was pouring from her mouth and she was screaming loudly in her grief. As they had left her child with her, there was no one to hear her cries. Giving birth to this child had also been akin to breaking a rule, and so her box was placed directly in the ocean. It was placed there, and with each incoming wave, the salty seawater would enter the box, burning her wounds. She was very troubled by this. A few days pass, and a storm arises in the sea. Water began to fill inside the box, and as a result, the AI system of the box had malfunctioned. As soon as the government becomes aware of the situation, they issue an order to find and destroy a cube. You see that when the AR drones locate the cube, they do not shoot it but instead begin to carry it away, and on the way, a bolt of lightning strikes. The lightning bolt had struck, resulting in the drone catching fire and the Kalika cube shattering open. 2 days later, it is observed that the cube was lying broken on one side, and she had at last emerged from it. Her time of pain and suffering had ultimately come to an end. She was now liberated, and with this the narrative concludes here.